And today on the Going North podcast, we're bringing some fabulous humans from across the globe. Today is no different. Today is no different. Echo my kidding. It's crappy to happy October, baby. Crappy to happy October. And it just gets better and not butter, folks, because this lady right here, oh man, the woman wellness warrior, the WWW that everybody really needs to be looking for, if you're a lady, that is. And this fabulous lady right here, my goodness, anxiety, pain, and symptoms used to control her life at one time, but she's able to find holistic remedies, hypnosis, nutrition, and fitness that help to establish balance in her body to enable healing and relief. And my goodness, it doesn't even stop there. So it's like one lady who's like seven ladies in one, because not only is she a wonderful nurse who's overcame a lot, she's also a children's book author and has a romance novel. So this is the first author with like, my goodness, three books in three different genres. My goodness. So let's give it up for Miss DV herself, Miss Diane Vich. How you feeling today, Miss?
I'm feeling good, and I've never gotten such an amazing intro. Thank you, Dom. I'm glad to be here.
Ah, yeah, glad you're here too. And the most amazing thing about the introduction is that that's not even all of it. So mind filling in any cavities I missed about the delightful Diane herself?
Sure. Well, I'd like to start off with a story. So I'm going to take off this. This is my son's home run jersey. But really, the true story is about becoming a cheerleader. So when I was a teenager, 15, that was my dream to become a cheerleader. But I gave it up because I let overwhelming emotions, negativity, frustrations, and trauma from the past take over my life. So if I could tell her a quote, or go back in time and tell her something, I would tell her this quote by Walt Disney: if you can dream it, you can do it. Because if anyone can dream, it was Walt Disney. And that little girl needed to hear that story. But she gave up on that dream, didn't think that I was good enough, didn't think I was worthy, that I could dance in front of people, too nervous. And I let everything shut down. Eventually, I ended up having to find another dream. So that took me into helping kids in healthcare. And I started as a 15-year-old in a doctor's office. And there I realized that I had a new dream, that I wanted to figure out what was the connection between developmental delays and illness in children, and how could we really make that connection and transform lives. Took me a long time to figure it out, but fast forward to age 42, I published my actual book, The Truth About IBS and Anxiety, and became a cheerleader for life because I realized that the whole thing, the whole secret is you have to start with mindset, because that's why it took me so long to really overcome my symptoms, is I didn't have the mindset. My negative Nancy would go on all day long, and for me to switch her was so hard. But I realized that nutrition is important, fitness is important, and mindset is the key. So if you could dream it, you can do it. And that was my quote by Walt Disney.
Ah, there we go. Classic quote because it's so darn true. It's like our mind is definitely the most probably one of the most powerful things in the human body, on the human body, because it can replay past victories and it can pre-play a future truth. Like yourself, you're a cheerleader for life now, and you're able to find it where at the age where some people probably haven't even found it yet still. So really, that's freaking awesome. So is that really one of the keys to being able to have this, I guess, in a way, this extra energy to be able to do all that you do? Because you have a daytime job that can be really enervating. You could probably come home extra tired, and being a mom and a wife on top of everything else and still creating all these things, like, is that probably one of the keys to really help you get to where you are today and where you're going?
Absolutely. I'd say mindset is the biggest key, and knowing what things actually work to relieve my stress, which is what I love about what I teach people in Manifest Wellness, which is a program that I'm actually teaching people, a 7-day cleanse that's starting right now, but this doesn't go live until October. Um, but what it is really finding what brings you joy, what connects you with your inner child, what can shift that mindset so that you have something that you can use during your day to shift things. Because yes, being a nurse is very stressful. And back when I started my journey, which was 8 years ago, I was chronically ill. I remember I was taking care of my little guys. My husband was always traveling, and I was overwhelmed with stress. I was like the super mom, but didn't want any help from anyone. And I kept putting everything on my shoulders, and eventually my body started to fall apart. until there was one day that I picked up my kids from school, and they were used to mom wanting to talk to them and play and be excited. And on that day, I felt miserable. I had chronic pain. I had a migraine. I wanted to lay down on the couch. And it brought a big realization to me as to what our kids see and how that stress impacts them and how they become aware of things that they don't need to become aware of. Because my little guy, he was 5 years old. That's the one I was wearing the t-shirt. Now he's 13. He was taking care of me. He brought me Gatorade. He brought me Tylenol. And on that day, I realized this is not the life I want. I want to be able to take care of my kids and have fun with them and bring joy and not bring them down with my negativities and my self-doubt. So the mindset was the crucial component. And I really didn't find it until I started undergoing hypnosis myself to reveal what were those blockages from my childhood, that trauma that I had underlying that I was hiding, and really begin to transform things at the root of everything.
Ah, beautiful. And I feel like hypnosis is getting a little more popular, at least the self-hypnosis. So what's the main thing that drew you to hypnosis and allowed you to be confident enough to be able to at least find out more about it and actually do it in your life? Because some people may hear hypnosis and be like, oh man, I don't want to think I'm a bunny rabbit or smoke like I'm in Texas or something. Like, what really helped you to really be able was to be curious enough to take that jump and actually learn more about it and actually do it and make it part of your life?
Well, I actually met my hypnotist, which was Diana. Her name is Diana Foster. She's a big singer. And I met her at a retreat. And when I was at the retreat with her, I had such a good connection with her. And I had been wanting hypnosis. Like I had known, but I hadn't found that person that I felt like I had a good connection with. Because I think with hypnosis, it's very important that not only you resonate with the person's voice, but you resonate with that person, because they're gonna be bringing to you exactly what you want to accomplish in life and what you want to let go. So there has to be this connection. So I had that connection with her from that first day, and I scheduled that appointment. And as soon as I scheduled that appointment and I got through my sessions with her, I was like, this is something I need to add to my programs. Like, this is the missing element. And I'm glad I found it before I published that book, because really it was a crucial component. But it did take more time to really perfect it, which is what I've been doing in this past year after I published it, was how can we condense that into something that people can actually learn in a short amount of time and be able to use it in their day. Like I was telling you before I got on this podcast, I was dancing. I was in my bathroom, dancing away the stress, shifting that mindset, and really giving myself attention, because we don't always give ourselves that self-loving attention. And really that is what I teach people, how to have fun with yourself.
Oh yeah, and you do it every day. I've seen some of the IG posts and heck, even the TikTok logo in the top corner. I'm like, all right, yep, this is the perfect person to be on TikTok right now.
And let me tell you, I was scared. Like, my biggest fears are the fear of being heard and the fear of being seen. So the fact that I even found TikTok, like I was avoiding it for a year. I kept hearing about it and I was avoiding it. And then finally I started trying it out. And then the whole hype came out that, they're leaking things from your phone. And I was like, okay, now I can't use it. And then frustration, but I got back in and I just started doing them again last week. But it's so much fun.
Ah, yeah, there you go. Because I mean, it's really a stress relief, like you said, especially when you keep your body in motion, because it stays in motion. Because heck, even myself, when I stay a little too sedentary and this COVID-19 crap is really showing me, it's like, hey, when you try to move a lot more and be more active when you've just been slaying around all day, then you're not going to be as well in terms of your performance, and you're going to be not feeling as energetic as usual. So it's great that you're actually tapping into that. So in addition to the dancing and all the cheerleading, not just for yourself, but also for the fabulous followers and your groups and whatnot, is there anything else that you do to keep your spirits high, higher than weed?
I I definitely use a lot of forgiveness. I think forgiveness is something that we not only need for forgiving people that may have harmed us, but also to forgive ourselves. Because when something happens to us, a confrontation, a conversation, anything that makes us uncomfortable, we take on these emotions that we don't let go. And that requires us to forgive ourselves for those things that happen. I've had a lot of challenges on the way up here. There were plenty of people that tried to bring me down and sometimes try to get me to lose my job. And in the middle of the frustration, you can kind of give up on your life and let go on your dreams, right? But by forgiving that situation in the moment, it's so powerful. And the prayer that I actually use, I found it more than, I'd say 2 years ago before I actually went to Hawaii. It's a Hawaiian prayer called Ho'oponopono. And
Ah,
it says, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And I like to use it in my meditations and in my hypnosis just to ingrain that in the person's subconscious. And I bring in the five senses. So when I take people on a journey, they feel things and they're like, Diane, how did you do that? And it's really about forgiveness, about tapping into all your energy and letting things go at a much deeper level when you feel all those senses, the tastes of the lemon and the scent of the lemon and all that stuff.
yeah, good stuff, especially the lemon. I remember going to a networking event one time, and there's this first person that was associated with Young Living, I believe, and they had the lemon essential oils. But the thing was, the lemon essential oil, the glass broke in the oil. Lemon was smelled throughout the whole darn room. And even though they were disappointed at the same time, I was like so energetic. I was so energized in that room because that lemon essential oil is freaking amazing. So really that, and heck, on top of the Ho'oponopono, funny enough, one of our past guests talked about that, Belinda Farrell, like that's getting more steam too, is really just the power of forgiveness and really the power of gratitude too. So it looks like you got yourself a nice utility belt there of energy.
Definitely. Gratitude is huge, I think. But I think you have to do the forgiveness first to then become grateful for everything we have. Because I think right now everyone's in the midst of this new life, this new version of things, and we're very uncomfortable and we're very stressed. And it takes us away from appreciating things. Actually, I heard this on the radio a few weeks ago, wabi sabi. It's a Japanese principle about embracing life with all its imperfections. And once you begin to forgive and become more connected with yourself and enjoy the little things that you can do, whether it's walking out in your front yard or going out in your backyard and dancing. We begin to appreciate the little things and have more fun so that we can connect with our families now that we're in this new world, this new way of life, and live in gratitude.
Yeah, that's right. All the magical gratitude. That's what I'm talking about. And especially little things like reading romance novels. So what inspired that? Like you
So
knew
that's
this was gonna
this,
come.
that
You
is
know?
this one. So this one was actually my first book that I published, and I published it under an alias. And the reason I published it under an alias is because mommies can be mean. And when people found out that I had gone through a Kundalini awakening, I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but basically that means your feminine energy has suddenly taken a storm and you're super creative. And it kind of was a shocker to me. So this last year was me balancing out and figuring out how can I stabilize this so I could teach it to people. Um, but that's what came out of it is this book. It was like this whole creative outlet that brought me things in my creativity that I had no idea about, um, that I had no idea I could do because back when I gave up on being a cheerleader, I gave up on my creativity. I used to write poems. I used to write letters to people that were really inspirational, and I had given all that away. So once my Kundalini opened, it was like I started writing 5 books. I just published only one of them.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, but
Wow.
this
All
one
right.
was really about, it was really about letting go of people controlling us and creating this stress within us and making us feel bad about ourselves, because that's a decision that we make on ourselves, right? And it's about empowering women to really want to connect with themselves deeper and understand the beauty that comes when they do connect with themselves. And at the end, you know, there's the romance, so she does find her true love, but there's some distance in the mix. So he's there but far away. But it was a beautiful story. And actually yesterday I was reading it, and I don't know if you saw my video yesterday, but I was dancing with a shirt. I don't know if I could say the word, but I was dancing with this shirt on. And there's actually a quote in the book that I didn't even know, mind you. I found this shirt this year. I bought it this year. And I have a quote in here with that word in my book. But it talks, I don't know, I'll skip the word, but it says each woman has little lies hiding in her subconscious. These same lies cause physical symptoms and even pain. Their feelings and emotions were trapped inside their minds. These emotions took each woman vaginal power for ransom and left her feeling purposeless. The obstacles and paths were different for every woman. The most powerful aspect of it all was that women would unleash their superpowers. Valerie helped women become beep versions of themselves, amazing versions of themselves. Let's just say that word.
Ah, there we go. That'll work. Amazing's always amazing.
Yes, they're fabulous versions of themselves when they let go of all that dirty stuff that's keeping them trapped.
Ah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Especially when you get to engage in your imagination, because I have to admit, I read the introductory chapter. I'm like, okay, all righty. Now I remember why I don't read romance books. Like, all right. So for those
You,
listening right now who love romance, I'm pretty sure you'll love this one because she is fabulous. She definitely embraced her imagination and creativity with this one.
thank you, thank you. It was a lot of fun. It was.
That's right. And the good news is it's only book one. And I'm sure so out of the 5 books, is this gonna be a 5-part series?
It's supposed to be a series. I when I came up with it, I actually want to create a series of different women finding themselves. But right now, it's on the back burner. I actually have a new story that I want to write for this series under my actual name, and it's more about women connecting with their feminine. But it will be linked a little bit with this story and that series. But of course, that series is going to come out when I have free time to be creative and do that.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, that Kundalini energy is something. So basically, 5 books written all at once. What was this 2 years ago that you're able to find this?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. I didn't finish them all, but I did start them. And actually, when I was publishing my actual book, The Truth About IBS and Anxiety, I wrote 5 children's books.
Oh, wow.
Those I did write, but I only published one. And this one,
Wow.
I reason I published it is because so when I wrote it, my son was having a lot of anxiety. The little one, he was like 9, and I had to teach him strategies and meditations to help him relax, so things that he could visualize in his mind. And at that point, I created this book for him, but I was too scared to publish it. Of course, remember, fear of being seen, fear of being heard.
Hmm.
So when the pandemic happened and I was actually out of the hospital, now, working from home, I was like, what am I waiting for? Like all the special needs families are asking me for help, and why am I hiding? So I finally published it, and there's more in the mix. But this one, I kind of changed it so that it would be more of a crisis support book with a meditation in it.
Ah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. The gift of COVID, or should I say the solid of COVID, the solace of COVID. There we go. There we go. Tongue tied all day. Tongue tied all day. Yes, indeed. I blame your beauty for that one, though. But yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, with all this creativity, really embracing all of it, and your contributing story to the crappy to happy book, what can folks just get a taste of what to await for your story in this fabulous book?
Yeah. So in my story in the book, I talk a lot about how we can release the stress in the moment before we have to do something that makes us uncomfortable. So one of the things that makes me uncomfortable is actually making calls to patients that have COVID-19, because I had to do extra teaching, and a lot of the times the families are scared, they're fearful. So I do prepare myself for those calls, and people can use this little idea because they're not making those calls, but they do have stressful things happening in their life. And it's exactly what I talked about when I started this podcast is take the moment to take a bathroom break, turn on your favorite song and dance to the music, sing to the music in front of the mirror, and really tap into your inner child, because that's the secret to really letting go of stress, is to have more fun and bring joy into your life. And that's the story that I wanted to come across in Crappy to Happy, is that we can shift things for ourselves, but we need to make that choice.
Ah, there we go. There we go. Because folks need that now more than ever. Now more than ever, especially during times like these. I thought people really needed it back last year, but nah, it's just been getting even worse for some people. So love the fact that you're mentioning that. So has Goddess Delight ever been a moniker of yours?
No,
Because it should be.
no.
There's Delightful Diane. You can go with Goddess Delight. With the Goddess
It
goodness.
sounds, yeah, Goddess Unleashed is my podcast. And that's my new route, because I think that's really where I align things. So it's like my creativity comes out in that. But I love bringing light into meditations and imagery, and I think it sounds great.
Ah, yes, indeed. It does sound great because they keep getting better and better. Heck, even better and not butter, as I like to say. So, with all this creativity that's really being unleashed and tapping into your goddess self and really conquering your fears, any advice for the other ladies out there who may be where you were those years ago that are still fearful of being seen and heard?
I'd say the hardest step is the first step. But if you can take that step for yourself and find someone that inspires you to continue on that journey, then you're on the right course. It's just creating a support system for yourself, even if it's finding a podcast that you resonate with or finding someone on YouTube that has good meditations. It's making that first step for yourself and sticking to it. That's the hardest thing. And if you can stick to anything for more than 21 days, then that is your new habit and you're on the right way.
Woohoo! There you have it, folks. There you have it. Make sure it's the right way. Go for 21 days. Go for 21. Hell, go for 2100 days if you want. Make it extra. Like really get it concrete in you. Like a big old concrete shark. Get it all in you. So since this is far from your first metaphorical rodeo, is there a question that you wish you'd be asked more often when you're being on the guest side of the interview game?
Hmm. I, Not really, but I think most people want to know how is it that I can write in three different genres and still find balance and calm because there's just so much going on. But it really it depends on the space I'm in. So I get inspired in the moment. Um, so I was actually writing my book, The Truth About IBS and Anxiety, and then you know enlightenment came, and I got inspired to write the other books, and I just switched modes and went with it. It's not that I'm constantly flowing in all three. It's creativity is something that just comes when you are calm and aligned. And I've created these things in sequences, but it's definitely happened over time and dependent on where my creativity is at and inspiration.
Ah, beautiful. So sounds like you found your place of productivity.
Yes, definitely. And I definitely use everything that I teach in order to stay productive because with all the stuff that's going on and the hospital work, it can get kind of tricky sometimes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely tricky. Definitely tricky indeed. So, what's probably, let's see, so is there any particular place that you prefer to really get your creativity to really unleash? Because I know you have the dance routine in the morning, the yoga stretches in the morning to really get your body into that peak performance state. Is there anything else like a particular place, is there a particular chair or something, or a particular spot in the house?
I do a lot in the bedroom, which is where I'm at right now. But my favorite spot, which is actually a spot that I had been wanting to go to over the past months, but I was hesitant, is actually my neighbor's backyard. She has that fabulous backyard, which I filmed my video yesterday in, and I love watching the sunrise and the sunset there. And usually in the mornings it's yoga, and then in the afternoon it is a dance routine. And sometimes I'll venture to the gazebo in our neighborhood and dance in front of the lakes, you know, as the people walk by and see me wondering, what is she doing?
Did she appear out of the lake?
Yeah, yeah. That's me. I'm the one that dances in the car and dances in front of the lake.
Oh, hey, it's all good. It's all good. Heck, that's what keeps the planet spinning in a good way. Definitely in a good way, because we need folks who are willing to dance and be a little on the silly side of the game, because a lot of folks like to be uptight.
Oh yeah, we got to bring joy into things. Like I like making my classes funny and creative, and I actually use wigs um, when I teach sometimes. This is one of them. This is my favorite one. The thing that I missed the most of when I became sick as a teenager was I lost most of my hair. So this wig is my favorite one because it actually looks like how I used to look with long brown hair. It used to be like that to my butt. So I like bringing wigs in to make it silly and fun and, you know, make people laugh and help them connect with their inner child.
I love it. So is there a particular name for the characters that you bring out with the certain wigs?
I have them written down, but you know, has stopped me many times. So um, they are written down. There's jokes connected to the wigs and stories that I want to say. And slowly but surely, they're starting to come out. This one, I would say, would be Veronica.
Ah, alrighty. Alrighty. The one who likes to be in the Mile High Club, I imagine.
Yeah, you read the book. You read part of it, huh?
Yeah, you thought I was joking?
I forgot that was in there, but yeah, never done that, by the way.
Sure. Let me stop. Oh, man. Whew. Well, speaking of magical characters in the past, is there... Oh, here we go. There's the question. Almost forgot my trademark question. So, what advice would you give to yourself if you were 25 again, but this time in 2020 with all of your amassed knowledge, experience, and creativity?
Don't forget the power of your orgasm. Because at that point, I had kind of lost sight of it, and I had no libido back then. So to get it back was not easy. And I think that was where the real magic happened, is when I reconnected with myself and found the power of the orgasm again.
Woo! Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it, folks. Especially for the ladies. That's right. That's right. The power of the orgasm. That's right. Not the organ in church, but the orgasm. That's what I'm talking about.
And it's good for the man and it's good for the woman. Everyone benefits from it.
Yeah, who am I kidding? It's good for everybody. Who am I kidding?
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely good for everybody. Get that release and then boom, take over the world. That's right. Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
let
Yes,
go.
indeed. That's right. So for those who want to keep in magical contact with the delightful Diane herself, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you?
Well, they can send me an email, Coach Diane Vich, DIANEV like Victor ICH at gmail.com. They can check me out on my website. It's my name, dianevich.com. And my podcast is Goddess Unleashed on Dream Vision 7, which is a lot of fun. And I teach a lot about how we can unite the worlds of conventional medicine and alternative medicine to really transform the way we feel inside our bodies.
Woohoo! Well, there you have it, folks. Check out Diane's delightful podcast, y'all. You'll definitely love the voice. She gives some great reading recommendations and all sorts of wonderful knowledge for you to take and run with. Heck, even some delightful meditations too. So she's a woman of many talents and many trades. So definitely be on the lookout for all of her magical offerings that will help you find more of your inner magic. So any parting words for the folks still listening, Diane?
Make the decision to change and take that first step. You deserve to feel better.